The following is a presentation of Zagnif Productions, LLC.
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, Fingers, you there? You're on mute.
There we go.
Hey, you don't know.
Hey, gang, what's going on?
What's
Check
that?
this out. So check this out. Right now, there's a lag. You guys are looking at us live right now streaming, but the studio is still, the software is still playing the intro. We're only about halfway through it. That's why I'm sitting there like, because I'm thinking that the end, I'm thinking that the intro is done playing. The intro is still playing. So I'm gonna have to look into that and see what's going on with the settings and check something out. But
That's weird.
we appreciate you tuning into this week in UGA football, and it's just starting and stopping. I'm going to play the doggone intro so we can get started. Messing with me, doggone software. I tell you,
hey, we got the blooper reel, man, already. Blooper reel.
Hey, Stephen A. Smith. I tell you what, I call you Skip Bayless a couple times. Stephen A. had to sit. He had to put a name tag that says Stephen A. on it just because I was calling him Skip all day. Good God, this is insane. Okay, we should be good to go now. Y'all should be able to. I can see now that Colin and I are on the screen and we're here. How are you doing? How are you doing? How are you doing? How are you doing? Right now, I just want to throw everything in the studio.
Take a laptop and throw it like a frisbee. I say that every day.
Nah, man, the joker costs too much money. I don't know. But so yeah, even the sound effects got a lag in it. I'm gonna have to check and see what's going on with the intro nets over here. But so who's chatting with us over there? Oh, that's Nathan Snell. That's my guy right there, Nathan Snell, the host of the Big Nate Sports Talk. He's on all the time, every time. My man does. He's not doing the marathon shows like he used to and doing the 18 shows a week, like 4 or 5 shows a day. But he's still out there doing his thing, and we appreciate you tuning in. Those of you, the rest of you that are tuning in, we appreciate you. Make sure you give it a like, give it a share, give it a subscribe. You know how we do. Anyway, y'all know what we're here for. We are here to talk UGA football, and we cannot get this thing started without first doing our introductions. I am live from the 405, where the wind comes whipping down the plain all the way in the heart of Oklahoma City, Mr. Fingers. And that guy right there, the man over there, that guy is Colin P. from the DMV on the INTERNET with me talking football with the best team in the SEC. You dig? Dig didn't rhyme with the rest of that. I just did that because I felt like doing it. Now I feel really old because I feel like Morgan Freeman playing Easy Reader on the electric company, and I just dated myself with that reference because a lot of our views go on.
I started to say I started to go bars.
But that's my man Colin P. from the DMV who just celebrated a birthday. How you doing, my guy?
Oh, dude, I'm doing great. I had a great weekend. My folks came up and had to be man with me, and kind of did a little bit of a little bit of celebrating, not too much. It did rain a little bit here, but yeah, man, it's kind of surreal that I hit the big 4.7. Hey, man, have you ever walked by the mirror and just looked at yourself? You're like, there's no way I'm this old. I mean, I feel a little bit old, but not, just it doesn't seem like I'm 47 years old. You know what I mean?
You're asking me this?
Yeah. No, I got it too.
I've been gray like this for almost a decade. I just used to keep it cut down to the goatee.
Oh, let me grow it out. It's so white. I told Brady I'm Santa Claus. So I mean, I said, I'm Santa Claus. He said, you're not Santa. I said, yeah, I'm Santa. He said, no, you Santa. I said, well, why don't you believe I'm Santa? He said, Santa's magic. I said, you don't think I got magic? You don't think I'm a magician? So I'm very tight with the guy. So I mean, I might be him. But like my dad always said, as long as it turns gray and don't turn loose, it's all good. So I got a little bit of hair up top, but not a whole lot. But
oh man, remind me.
Anyway, how was your weekend?
I can't even speak to that. Well, after 5 years of fighting the urge, I finally caved. Hosted a couple of karaoke shows. The regular host was out sick, so I hosted the Friday night and the Saturday night show at Triples Bar and Grill right in Bethany, Oklahoma, right on the corner of 23rd and Council. If you guys are ever in town, stop by and see your guy. You'll either see me down there hosting or hanging out. That was pretty much what I did. And then Sunday I ran errands, catching up on all the stuff that I didn't get to do. And then of course, I smoked the cream cheese. For those of you that I'm not connected with on social media, I happen to have smoked some cream cheese, and it goes very good with Doritos. And this one is a Parmesan garlic that I got right here. I did a smoky bacon barbecue and a Parmesan garlic. See, this is the part I hate when we're not in the same spot, because I can be like, bro, you need to get down on this right now, man. It's dope, and it's also cold, and it's breaking the Doritos. And I should have maybe nuked it in the microwave just a little bit to warm it up. But now I got Dorito crumbles. Now I got Dorito crumbles and cold cream cheese, but it'll be okay because it's still delicious.
This week in UGA / cooking show. Cooking snacks.
There we go. Let the big dog eat. That's what he was talking.
That's right. That's right.
So did you do any extra celebrating, or did you keep it kind of?
No, the folks took me out to a steakhouse here right down the street from my house, and you took me and my mom and Pops and Brady. We went out, had dinner, came home, and my mother had got me a cake, and we came home, and that's the picture you saw on Facebook. We lit the candles, and they sang "Happy Birthday" to me, and that was pretty much it.
Bro, we come a long way from going to karaoke and getting plastered, haven't we?
It hurts too much, man. I'm telling you, it hurts.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just here to tell you, when I met this fine young man 14 years ago, neither one of us had crossed the the threshold of 40 yet.
Yeah.
And we used to get it in.
We went hard.
And now I'm almost 9 years dry. I don't even know what would happen if I tied one on one night. I think I would have to take like 3 or 4 days of PTO for real.
Yep. I mean, that's what it seems like to me. 2 days I feel normal. It takes at least 2 days. One day I feel halfway normal. Still cloudy. but the second day I feel halfway normal.
Well, dude, there's nothing normal about me to begin with, so I don't know how long it takes me to get back to normal.
Very true. What is normal anyway, right? I mean, what is normal?
Right. Right. Well, you know our names and you know our game. We're here to talk UGA football right now. The Dawgs still ranked #1. But before we get into it, actually, what we're going to do, we're going to go around the horn in the SEC. Wow, what an eventful weekend for SEC football, man. I'm just going to tell you. Kentucky acted like they wanted to let Eastern Kentucky win the game. Actually, Eastern Kentucky was leading. Eastern Kentucky was leading going in the second quarter. Then they tied it up at the half. And Eastern Kentucky took a lead, and then Kentucky finally woke up and started playing. I don't know. What do you think of this guy Leary, their new quarterback? What do you think about him?
I mean, I don't have enough sample size, really. I mean, he needs to probably get his feet wet. And I mean, he gets to go, and didn't look like he was very comfortable with me. I mean, like, honestly,
Well, anytime you're struggling against Eastern Kentucky.
Well, yeah. we struggled against Kent State. So I mean, like we've talked before. Any given Saturday, my brother.
Dude, we struggled against Missouri last year. Like, we were supposed to wipe the table with Missouri.
Yeah.
I know. Missouri. And I told this to the OG Sean. I told this to him when we first started hanging out. I said Missouri is one of those teams that's just really scrappy, man. And that was Drew Lock. Look. Yeah. I know a lot of you have already forgotten Drew Lock, but Drew Lock was a problem for Georgia. Drew Lock would come out and sling that ball all over the field, and they drew up all kinds of stunts and hooks and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Just I won't call them trick plays, but they knew what plays to run to keep our defense on their toes. And Drew Lock would, in a loss, would still throw for 300 and some odd yards.
Yeah, don't forget when they came to the SEC, they were pretty much in the mix their first year. I mean, like, it was the first year or second year. They were like
their first year. I think didn't they win the conference championship a year or two before
they
came over?
Uh-huh.
So it wasn't like they were a bunch of slouches. It's just that over time, at that point, Auburn was still formidable. Alabama was Alabama. Kirby had taken over. Didn't have a very great first season, but we know how the second season went, and it's he's just been pedaled to the floor ever since. So over time we wore him down, but still. So Kentucky finally finishing up 28-17. Let's all point. Listen, we don't like to really pick on people on this show. I mean, we have a little fun from time to time. We don't like to pick on people on this show, but right about now, here's what I want everybody to do. I want you to figure out where on the map you are. I want you to point in the general direction of College Station, and I want you to laugh. That's what everybody. Yes, right now we are pointing and laughing at Texas A&M. We're pointing and laughing at Texas A&M collectively. Because Jimbo Fisher, the same guy who said a couple of years ago, very famously, that he would kick Nick Saban's ass. His team went on later, giant goose egg against Miami. Now, they weren't blanked, but they lost by 2 scores. Quarterback still threw for 336. Leading receiver had 142 yards, but what's not enough against Miami? Now, let's be real. Miami is on the come up.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
No, not at all. They are. Absolutely. They're showing flashes of the Miami of old, really bit,
Yeah, Cristobal's got those guys down there working, man. It's he said he was going to turn the program around. They come out, they're currently 2-0, which has them in the running for the ACC. I think they may even be in the lead in the ACC. Forgive me, I have not had a chance to check all of the records. Well, no, scratch that, because the next team, Wake Forest, Vanderbilt had a good quality win the previous week, but they fell a little short. Actually, Vanderbilt's still 2-1. But they lose to Wake Forest. Wake Forest with a two-score win, 36-20. Let's see what else happened around the horn here. We had Ole Miss with a two-score win over Tulane, 37-20, beating Tulane in their own backyard. Jackson threw for 267. D. Wade had 106 yards receiving. Arkansas, who scored sevens all the way across the board, would have been a lucky night if you were playing in the casino. 28-6. They scored exactly one touchdown per quarter. That was enough to beat Kent State. 28-6. Alemo for 174 yards. I'm sorry, KJ Jefferson 136 yards. I'm sorry, that was Alemo was a quarterback for Kent State. He threw for 174. Let's see here. Tennessee took care of business against Austin Peay. Winless Austin Peay. Milton threw for 228. Wright ran for 118.
That's right.
Let's see. Missouri managed to eke one out against Middle Tennessee State. Florida finally stepping up. Sunbelt Billy did something to get these guys motivated. They win 49-0. The only quarter they did not score double digits was the fourth quarter. Mertz threw for 193 yards. Johnson ran for 119, and Pearsall had 123 yards receiving.
Yeah.
Let's see here. LSU. I mean, what are you going to do? Grambling, it's a HBCU. Most of the lot, if you're an HBCU whose name is not Jackson State, South Carolina State, or North Carolina A&T, you're more than likely going to get eaten up. Brian Kelly gets the boys to rebound. They scored 72 points. They won by 62 points playing at home in the swamp. Daniels had 269 yards. Passing, Diggs had 115. Nathers had 87 yards rushing. Looks like we had an overtime thriller here. Mississippi State squeaks by Arizona. 31-24, but managed to win. South Carolina, Beamer ball is back, baby. 47-21 over the Furman. The Purple Paladins of Furman. The only reason I know that Furman's name is the Purple Paladins is because it used to be Georgia Southern and Furman every year back in the days of Tracy Ham and Irk Russell.
Yep. And I think, honestly, I went to Georgia College. I think we played Furman in basketball, I think.
Yeah. Spencer Rattler throws for 345 yards. Count them, every single one of them. Oof. Auburn still undefeated, although they only scored 2 touchdowns, one in the second, one in the fourth, but it's enough to beat Cal. The Pac-2 is dead, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I said the Pac-2 because unless something happens between now and next year, there's only 2 teams that are right now unspoken for in Pac-12 as far as all of the conference realignment. Let's see what else we got going on here. And then, of course, we have the big one that I purposely skipped over. The big one that I purposely skipped over. We have a motto here on this show, and it's Colin's mantra, and we have rode that bad boy until the wheels have just about fallen off of it. But Colin loves to say this, and he said it a lot during the first season, and it's just been a great clip since then. Why won't you play?
The Bama does what Bama do. I thought they were going to do it. Honestly, until they didn't. I thought they were going to do it until they didn't. But
so did everybody else, and they kept waiting. They kept waiting. Even Funny Man kept saying, "Hey, look, we gonna get this thing up. We need to stop." We didn't get to stop. The shocker of the weekend the Crimson Tide, number 3 ranked at that time, fall at Bryant-Denny Stadium, thus ending their longest home game winning streak against SEC teams against the Texas Longhorns. Well, actually, I'm sorry, non-conference. My bad. Non-conference teams, because Texas is not in the conference yet. They will be next year. Let me tell you, brother, the Longhorns look good.
They did. They did, absolutely. But, I mean, it seems like I hate to make it sound like it's easy, but, I mean, honestly, you've seen in the past, if you blitz, like how we had success against Alabama is we blitzed. And it looks like Texas was bringing at least 2 people every play. I mean, every down, they were bringing somebody, you know, seemed to affect them. So, I mean, I'm not saying that was the only factor that helped them win, but their offense was on fire. Their quarterback is amazing. So,
young Quinn Ewers. Quinn Ewers appears to be the real deal, ladies and gentlemen. If there was any question, like the song say, if you don't know, now you know. Milroe did not have the best of days, but he still managed to muster up 245 yards passing. Sanders of Texas with 114 yards receiving. The number 11 Longhorns remain undefeated. They doubled them up 10 double digits in the second, double digits in the fourth. Wow, that's it. I mean, the fact that they the fact that they held Alabama to 2 field goals in the first half.
Yeah,
says all that needs to be said. I'm loath to play this clip, but could they be?
We're back.
And here we go with the clips being wonky and taking forever to come back, which is exactly why I have my phone down here with the video so I can see we'll be back from when we're actually back from the clip. So you guys are seeing everything in real time, and it's looking really good on the stream. Unfortunately, in the studio, it's the videos and things like that are lagging. I have no idea what's going on. You could have knocked me over with a feather when I saw it. I kind of pulled a fool.
What?
Unmute. There we go. Unmute. You got to unmute, my man.
How far? The question is, Bama now was number 3. How far do they tumble? Apparently, everybody on game day had them winning the national championship this year, and so now they all had to change their picks. So
they're down to number 10. So
they're down to what?
Number 10. They're 10.
They fell down to 10.
Yep, they fell down to 10.
Oh, okay. Well, already then, what we're going to do right here is we're going to take a quick pause. The cause will come back, get into it, and talk about the Dawgs versus Ball State. You guys do not go far. We'll be right back. That's enough of that. The commercials are lagging in the studio, and it's really throwing off the timing. So we'll just go without it. Anyway, welcome back to This Week in SEC Football, aka This Week in UGA Football. I am Mr. Fingers. That right there is the birthday boy, Colin P. And boom, there it is. Yet again, the Dawgs do it once more. That's 2 down and 10 more to go. This one, Colin, this one was a little bittersweet for me, just because not because we did perform badly, but this game is Ball State was our replacement game for Oklahoma. You were supposed to come up. We were going to go down there. We were going to have a good time. I was probably going to have to I was definitely going to have to DD. We were going to have ourselves a good little time, maybe find ourselves a karaoke spot and find a little something to do. But as fate would have it, they said, hey, we can't get a home and home off of this right now. Even though we know good and hell well, you guys are joining the conference next year. We could easily schedule the return game to Georgia in the next couple of years after coming back, after coming over into the conference. They decided to scrap that game, which would have made a ton of money and been great for ratings for both schools and been an excellent recruiting tool. They gave us Ball State. Oklahoma at least got SMU. We got Ball State. Now, I'm not complaining. We still got the W.
Yeah.
So what did you take away from this game, sir?
Well, I didn't understand it because, I mean, they left the Texas-Alabama game, right? So, I mean, it was, Oklahoma with us. So you'd have had two great games, moneymakers, like you just said. And, and with all of them wanting, chomping at the bit to come to the SEC, I don't understand what's taking them so long. I mean, I know there's T's to cross and I's to dot and that kind of stuff and some legal stuff and whatever. But I mean, in all intents and purposes, they're in the SEC and all the groups you look at there's Texas and Oklahoma. So I mean, I'm with you, man. I thought that was just a waste because I mean, I think that was going to be a great game, along with the Alabama and Texas game. But if I were them, I would have put it on a different weekend. But we definitely missed out on that, and it wasn't contrary to popular belief from some people. It wasn't us that removed them; it was the SEC conference that did. We didn't take them off our schedule,
which made no sense to me because the conference made a ton of money off of TV rights with that Texas Alabama game, and they would have made a ton of money. They would have made a ton of money off of our game too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think the big problem was that the games are going to overlap, and I don't think they had any way to figure out how to have them separately.
Yeah,
because the Bama game started at 6 and the Oklahoma game started at 5.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so, and then they're about an hour, like, and Tuscaloosa is an hour behind us, right? Behind the East Coast.
Hour behind you, yeah.
Yeah, it's still Central Time.
So on Central Time, there would have been a 5 o'clock kickoff in Norman and a 6 o'clock kickoff in Tuscaloosa, and you would have both those games running at the same time. And I think that's what it boiled down to is the almighty dollar. And Bama versus Texas was the bigger draw, I think.
Right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because, I mean, they didn't want to play a tug of war on who's going to make the most money. They want to get all the money in one spot. You know what I'm saying? That may be another
the money. So. All the money. So, Pete, this. We did get the win. Nice big win. I believe right now we have held our opponents to, is it 9 points so far, if I'm not mistaken? 9 points total. A big part of that is the defense. The defense is still as stout as it ever was. It's not as flashy. You don't have a whole lot of. I mean, we still have some standout guys on the squad, but we don't have those big, Big Baby Davis and all of those kind of things. And Kobe Dean. We don't have the big flashy names, but the defense is getting the job done. But there has been a kid that has emerged as a big cog. A big cog and a big part of the reason why the Dogs are 2-0. His name is Mekhi Mews.
Right.
He came to Georgia with no scholarship a couple years ago. Now he's a walk-on. Last week he had a 35-yard touchdown scramble on a killer misdirection play. This week he takes a punt 69 yards to the house, and he just bobbed and weaved his way right on down the field, right on down that right sideline. Gone. Mekhi Mews. It's the second time in 2 weeks he's made a big play.
If you talk to other players and everything, everybody loves him. I mean, they've actually talked to him on press conferences, that kind of stuff, talked about him, and I guess he's loved in the locker room and everything, and they'd love to see him get his time to shine and actually do something good, do something with it, and love to see him run that punt back. Everybody was just hyped up for him. So.
Oh yeah, 100%. Actually, he also had another 40. He had a 47-yard kickoff return too. Reed had the ball first, and he doggone near broke another one open. So this kid says he's hungry. He just wants to play. So if you're looking for a player to watch, this kid's a special teams. He's a special teams player primarily, but they work him in certain packages. I think Mekhi Mews, I believe he's a sophomore. So he's going to at least have one, maybe 2 more years in the program. Keep your eye on that kid. He's definitely going to do big things. Also, there's another player. Colin is in love with this kid. I think it has something to do. I think it got something to do with the name. He goes by the name of Cash Jones. And Cash, your boy caught himself a touchdown Saturday.
Yeah, man, I was happy to see that. I'm waiting. I was hoping he would. Well, season's not over yet, but hopefully he'll get a little more touches. But I was happy. I was pumped for him. Cash Jones. I want to see a little more for him. But I was happy to see Rosemary Jack Saint back as well. We didn't see too much of Bullard. Bullard was injured, but
yeah, Bullard is still. Let's see, Bullard is a possibility. Yeah, our guy, Lad McConkey he's day to day. He could return this week, but he's day to day with the back strain. And our guy, John Edwards, and they said he will possibly play this Saturday, which in Kirby speak means he was ready 2 weeks ago. I just didn't want to risk getting him hurt in the first 2 cupcake games.
I was going to say maybe McConkey's he's doing a little smoke and mirrors with McConkey because he didn't see too much about the return factor for McConkey.
I didn't even know that McConkey was on the injured list until last week when the game started.
Mm-hmm. I know, that's what I'm saying. They keep it close to the vest. We know how he rolls. So
yeah. And Rosemary Jack Saint also caught himself a pass as well, touchdown pass as well. So they both contributed a little something to the pot,
Like I said, they spread the ball around. Everybody got a touch. I mean, there was a lot. 20+ people got their hands on the ball with rushing or passing or receiving.
Yeah. Now you know what? I like that philosophy. I really do. But that is a luxury that you can afford when you're up by several scores, which the Dawgs were. But that leads kind of right into what I want to talk about next: the good versus the bad. And let's both. Everybody knows that Colin and I both love the Dawgs greatly, but we also pull no punches. And for the second week in a row, the thing that I saw most of all, it was bad. Offense started off sluggishly, real sluggish.
Yeah,
2 weeks in a row. I think we gotten a little spoiled after a couple of years of Stetson Bennett, where they come out and they cock it and pull it, bow. Like in the Rose Bowl game where Kirby, when Kirby called that halfback pass straight out of the backfield.
Yep.
Those kind of things, especially playing at home against a quote unquote cupcake team. Go ahead and get your score up quickly so you can get your first team off the field and let your other guys get some reps, which is what we've been notorious for the last couple of years. It started off really slow. The offense didn't really start to pick up and generate until the second quarter. Because we did not score a single touchdown in the first quarter. And I think that was second time being last week.
Yeah. So, that first, I mean, but think about it. We've actually, in the past, in the past decade, it's either been we didn't show up in the first half we show up in the second half, or we didn't show up or we showed up in the first half and then, played cover and, played prevent in the second half and then got demolished. But, I'm with you. I mean, it's a different team. I'm actually struggling with it because, I'm used to seeing a faster paced ball game, but it doesn't look like it's that way. I think it gets there, but not, the first quarter is just real sluggish. But I don't know. Maybe they're still working out the kinks. I mean, like I said, I want to see more from Carson. I want to see more of his arm. But I don't know. We all know Bobo, so I'm hoping for a change. Maybe he'll air it out a little bit, call some pass plays more than up the middle. But we see.
Well, what I'm looking for, what I'm really looking for, or what I'm thinking, I'm sorry. What I'm thinking is Kirby's been coaching for a minute now. He's been a head coach of that program for a while now. And we
Yeah.
tend to get the bulk of our injuries either in spring training or in the first few weeks. And maybe he's told Coach Bobo, listen, we want to do enough to win, but we're not trying to kill the guys in the process. We got a 12-week season. We got a 13-week season with a bye. We got 12 games to play, and if we run that gauntlet and we're in the playoffs, then we got to play the conference championship, a playoff game, and a national championship, assuming we win all of those. That's a
Yeah.
long road. That's a long road. That's a long road to hoe. So if we can dial it back and still win, a win's still a win. We win if we went out and win the conference. We still
Yeah. I mean,
we're the returning national champions, and it's still a good. We still have a good shot at getting in the playoffs.
but in my opinion, though, I mean, it's kind of a recipe for disaster. I mean, yeah, we've in the past kind of played not to lose type of thing with Martin Rick and that kind of, that kind of mentality. It seemed like, they played not to lose, and Kirby's more of a play to win type of guy. So I mean, yeah, and that's kind of what's confusing to me, right? I mean, like he's a play to win type of guy, but I agree with what you're saying. I mean, I see your point, but
I mean,
you
think
got to
about
play to win, not to lose. That's why I
think
hate
about
to
some.
so
Yeah, like think about some of the key players that we've had hurt that we had. I mean, we survived okay without them, but like George Pickens, who missed an entire season until the playoffs.
yeah,
Big Baby, who's missed games. N'Kobe Dean, who played hurt.
yeah,
Um,
that's true.
running backs that got hurt that we could have used at crucial times. And fortunately for the last couple of years, we've been able to navigate our way through that.
Yeah, and
But
we'd have people to step up, to fill those
yeah,
voids for however long it took for them to,
right. And I don't think it's a matter of playing not to lose. I think it's playing to win. I just think I think he's kind of, with age comes, I could be wrong. I'm looking at it as just to play devil's at just to play the opposite side of your
yeah.
argument. Looking at it as an older and wiser Kirby. Like
Mhm.
if we can still beat these guys and not give 300% in the very first quarter. As long as we don't let them get out in front of us, we're golden.
Yeah, I mean that's the big thing. I mean, like we don't want to be out of reach. That's been the notorious our issue. I mean, that's what happened in Alabama. They were just out of reach, and then they would throw a turnover and then be over.
Yeah, it's like when we played Sanford, we didn't come out and bang Sanford in the head last year. We just kind of
Right.
slow rolled our way into it, and once the guys got tired, then he opened the throttle up a little bit and let Stetson sling it around the field and run a couple himself. And he and Brock Bowers there was one play with him and Brock Bowers did a kid and play step and he hacky sacked the ball 10 yards down the field and N'Kobe Dean who snuck in and ran out on it. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff.
It was fun football. You could
Right.
tell they were having fun.
Yeah, they were having fun playing football. So that's my 2 cents. Now, I won't say the bad as far as Bobo is concerned, because so far we've done well.
Yeah.
I think outside of experience, seriously experienced players, Mike Bobo, he's always been a wild card because you never know how his offenses are going to fare from one Saturday to the next. One Saturday, they'll win by 20, 30 points pulling away. The next week, they can barely buy a touchdown. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's probably my biggest concern. But so far, so good. I mean, I don't really foresee there being any hitches in the giddy up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, we won't know that till we get to the SEC. I mean, like it's good to have these two kind of cupcakes to get warmed up, but you've got to pretty much, you've got to be ready to roll, when the time comes. Like South Carolina, you can't. Even though North Carolina did what they did to South Carolina, there's no guarantee we're going to get the same play from them. I mean, Rattler could come out on fire, and they could score. Got to be ready for that.
Well, Rattler also had an excellent game this past week, but again, his game was against. Oh God, who did they play?
McNeese.
Back and look. Yeah, they played against McNeese State. Of course, you should look good playing McNeese State as a team as a team in the Power 5 conference. You should look good against McNeese State. So he did what he needed to do. You know,
right.
that would be like the Dogs beating up on Buck Tussle State. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. First mention of Buck Tussle State this season. You heard it here first. Season 3, episode 3. Buck Tussle State is in it. For those of you wondering, Buck Tussle State is a fictional university that I made up and just pulled out of thin air, and they're in the same conference with Bishop Sycamore.
She's got a good ring to it.
Yeah. So next week the Gamecocks come to. Wow, that's a heck of a stretch. 1, 2, 3, 4 home openers to start the season. The Gamecocks come to Sanford Stadium. It is a 3:30 Eastern kick. Spencer Rattler starting quarterback, Carson Beck on our side. That's pretty much what we got coming up. So I'm thinking that our chances are pretty good in this game. I really am.
Well, we're picked by 27, so I mean, I think that's going to change maybe by, I don't know, 2 or 3, but I don't know. It may stay well. It might go up a little bit, but I don't know. But yeah, I think we're going to have I'm interested to see how it goes. Because like I said, SEC, you know, see if there's any kind of changes in the play calling. You know, Bobo tries something different because of, you know, the defense he sees. We'll see.
Yeah, we shall see. It's sad. It's sad, and then Georgia has won 2 national championships in the last 2 years, and now it's like the fans have kind of sort of earned the right to be picky about their coaches, and we know those of you that don't know, Mike Bobo has been the offensive coordinator for Georgia before, and there's been some controversy amongst the fans with some of his play calling. He's been there under Mark Richt. He engineered some of those offenses that just could not seem to get over the hump against the Alabama,
with 3 more players. We had 2 more players
against the Auburns, and we had the same top tier talent. You had I think didn't Chubb and Michelle, didn't they also play under Mark Richt? Those were Mark Richt's guys.
Yeah, they 1 year. I think 1 year under Richt, was it their freshman year? I think.
Yeah. I mean, Rick had, and here we are, and you got these guys, Georgia couldn't get over the hump. We couldn't beat the Auburns. We couldn't beat the Alabamas. We couldn't beat every now and again we lose to a Mississippi State, or we lose
Vanderbilt.
We lose a non-com game to another Power 5 program that we normally would manhandle, and a lot of it had to do with the play calling. So. Not trying to dog Mike Bobo, just Bobo's got to figure out which OC he's going to be this year, I think, because we're 2 weeks in, and in a couple of weeks, you're going to start getting into the meat of it. I mean, you get one more cupcake afterwards. You got UAB after South Carolina, and I'm not saying South Carolina is a cupcake.
Yeah.
But you got UAB after that, and then after that, we got Auburn, and then Kentucky, and then Vanderbilt, and then Florida. That's a hella stretch.
Yeah, absolutely. It is. And then we got So then we got who's after that? Do we have anybody after? Well, we got Tennessee, right? After Florida?
After Florida, then we play Mizzou, Ole Miss, Tennessee, and then we close the season out against the Yellow Jackets.
Yeah.
So that's a heck of a stretch. I mean, you're talking about the next so the first four, and I'm not dogging South Carolina, that should be a win for Georgia. The first 4 should be walked through at 3/4 speed. But after that, the back 8, the first 7 of the back 8 is all SEC.
Yep.
So, and we got to win each and every one of those to the way Texas is playing. The way Texas is playing and Tennessee is looking consistent. Tennessee's looking good. Ole Miss has, with Lane Kiffin at the helm, Ole Miss has the potential to be a problem. Clark Lee has the guys at Vanderbilt believing that they're giant killers.
Yep. And
Swan is not a joke, not to be joked about at all. He's not him, but he's definitely doing it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Pick up what you're putting down.
Yeah, 100%. So there's still work to be done, I think. And if we make it to the playoffs again this year, then there's the question of who do we wind up stacking up against? Do we get
Exactly.
that? Do we get the Notre Dame that somehow the Notre Dame that somehow is no longer the 98-pound weakling? Do we get Michigan? Do we get Ohio State? Do we get USC this year? Do we
Yeah.
get a jacked up Miami? Does Clemson turn the corner and run the table, and we get Clemson? Who do we get?
Yeah. I mean, it's going to turn out to be a weird year. It's already been kind of weird the first 2 or 3 weeks. So, yeah, there's no telling what's going to happen. Because, I mean, I don't know. I kind of think, I don't know. You think any 2-loss teams might be in the mix? You think that I don't think any. I mean,
I
there
think
might be a couple of undefeateds. What I mean? There could be some undefeated.
for a 2-loss team to be in the mix, then that means that everybody has stumbled at some point. That means that at some point, Ohio State and Michigan and USC and Georgia and Alabama and Notre Dame have all fallen, and they're still the cream of the crop. And then the committee's just got to go, just take all the names on paper, scraps of paper, throw them in the air, and whichever 4 land in the basket of the 4 to go to the conference playoff.
Yeah. I don't know. There may be a couple, like I said, there may be some undefeateds. You never know. But
I definitely think there's going to be some undefeateds. I mean, I think
more than one. You know what I mean? More than one.
Yeah, hadn't that been the case the last couple of years?
We were only undefeated last year, weren't we?
I would have to go back and do my research on that, sir. I do not want to misspeak on that. Because I'm being serious. I don't want to misspeak on it because we do have a good group of people that we affiliate ourselves with. It's called Let's Talk Football, and their family of shows. And those folks are on their stuff, and they'll send you a ping and let you know, hey man, look, it wasn't Joe Smith, it was John Smith, or he didn't throw for 14 yards, he threw for 17 yards. Like they will let you know. So I don't want to, and matter of fact, I need to go ahead and back up. Speaking of misspeaking, I did talk about Sunbelt Billy a couple of weeks ago. Sunbelt Billy was at a Power 5 school before he came to Florida, and he's only coached for 15, 16 games at this point. So, I mean, maybe a little bit of grace, but maybe should get a little bit of grace. But I mean, it's clear that he's Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde with motivating the guys to play, and it shows from week to week.
Well, you heard what old ball coach said. He said to say I'm disappointed is an understatement. He said, if I could coach at 70 years old, I could coach a better game than that. And he said that basically they need to get it straight. He said, I'm embarrassed.
Oh, Spurrier?
Oh yeah. Oh, ball coach. He wasn't pulling any punches. He wasn't missing words. He was upset.
Man, I'm gonna tell you what, that guy was the bane of my existence as a Georgia fan.
On your boat, man.
Yeah, probably one of the greatest, if not the greatest coach to ever coach at that program. I mean, was he there? Was he Spurrier? Not Spurrier. Oh Lord, see there I go. There, well, Nancy, there you go again. Was he? Was he Emmett's coach?
Yeah, Emmett was there. Yeah. Emmett was there. See, there was somebody else. Who was it? Oh.
You know what? I pretty much tuned out. I pretty much tuned out Florida after the 2 or 3 years worth of drubbing that Florida gave us while he was there. So I didn't really follow a lot. I didn't follow a lot of other players that were there.
Yeah.
Until we started to kind of even it back out again, but it was getting away from us real bad, real fast.
Yeah, when I'd go to the Georgia Florida game in high school, it wasn't.
Come on,
man.
Man.
It was fun for a couple of
Ray Goff and Jim Noonan, come on, man.
Yeah,
that's the best you could do. Athletic director, Georgia athletic director, and at one point, Vince was the AD.
Yep, he was. And what was Jim Donnan? Remember Jim Donnan?
Yeah, Jim Donnan and
Ray Goff. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Man, we're dating ourselves.
Was glad when Rick took that program over because he did good things with that program. Couldn't get him over the hump, but he brought him back to prominence. He did good things to the program, and he said it. He left it right in a perfect spot.
I think so too. Yeah. Yep.
He
But
left
Kirby,
it was in a perfect spot when Kirby came in. So
Yep.
there was a year or so of growing pains, and then boom, gone. And Kirby has not looked back since.
Not at all. But he said, like we were saying before, complacency. I mean, like I can agree with him. And so that's what I was going to say about the first two games. But I mean, how can you not kind of be, going at 50% or whatever these teams, that aren't? I mean, you paid Ball State $1.6 million to come, get their behind whooped, and then, But I just don't want. I'm not saying it's happening, but I mean, it kind of looks like it, but it's not. I know it's not. Complacency. That's the biggest killer too, is complacency. So,
yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah. That kind of stuff, and you see it sometimes, which is why I'm like, my biggest concern for this year. I don't know if I voiced this or not, but my biggest concern for this year is that I do not want the team to get complacent because they're going back to back. Because it is hard. One of the reasons it's so hard to three-peat is you may have been good enough to the point where you expected to win that first one, and then you say, well, we're gonna come back. We got everybody coming back. Let's try and run it back. We don't know if we'll do it. And then you manage to somehow all the stars align and you manage to pull it off. Now you think you're bulletproof.
Yep, that's true.
It's hard.
True.
It's hard to not get complacent, and that is the one thing that I am very afraid will settle in, especially if the season continues to roll on and they continue to rack up the dubs.
Yeah, and another thing I've noticed differently is they don't seem to be as fired up as the last two teams. Like, I mean, they jump around, they do this, I know that, when they get excited, but you can't deny the last two teams, Jordan Davis.
God, yeah.
They got mad when they when the offense scored on them, you know what I mean? When they didn't blank them. They got upset. They were legitimately upset. I don't see that fire from. Maybe we will once the season gets going. But it's still early. But I mean, you see some of them. You see flashes of the hype and that kind of stuff. But they gotta want it. I mean, like I don't quite see it right now. I'm just that's just me. As a fan, like I said.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so just to wrap up this past week's game. Georgia does come away with another dub. 2 down, 10 to go. 45-3 over Ball State. My final thoughts, I think it was a good showing overall. Like I said earlier, I just need to see a little more pop coming out. I need to see a pop coming out of the garage. You know what I mean? It's like every movie, television show you've ever seen, commercials even, you have where the guy's got the revved up sports car with the souped up engine, or he's got the souped up super bike and he's pulling it out of the garage and he's laying on that gas. He's blowing all the fossil fuel in the world out into the atmosphere.
Yeah.
And then pops that clutch and you see the smoke coming off the tires and it just peels off. That is the trope that you see. I want that trope to somehow transfer into the Dawgs coming out of the gate, because some teams you can't play with. You have to go. Mike Tyson said, everybody's got a plan until they get hit in the mouth.
That's right. Exactly. Yep.
There's some teams you just cannot. Auburn, you can't look. Auburn is sneaky. I mean, they're not. I don't think they're going to be world beaters this year. Auburn is sneaky. You can't go out there and play pity pat with Auburn. You'll wind up looking up and you'll be chasing. You can't go out there and play pity pat with Ole Miss. You'll be chasing, and you damn sure can't go out there and play pity pat with Tennessee.
Yeah, or Missouri. But I mean, we had a bad habit of playing to our opponent's caliber. You know what I'm saying? And we do that quite a lot. So I mean, I'm not saying this is the case. We did at least the Ball State and UT, but they're going to have a test against. I think they're going to have a test against South Carolina. So we'll see what kind of fire they got, lit under their behind, and we'll see what kind of see how excited they get. And like you said, I'm with you. I mean, they need to see a little more hyped up.
Right.
But maybe it'll force them. Maybe South Carolina will be good enough to get them over that hump.
Maybe
in our eyes.
Yeah. Hey, look, fun fact that I just ran across here. You know who our leading receiver is so far this season after 2 games?
leading receiver.
Yeah.
Like,
Our
there's a
boy,
Mews.
our boy Mekhi Mews, 6
Yeah,
receptions for 102 yards and a touchdown.
yeah.
Shout out to the walk on. Shout out to the
Yeah.
sophomore walk on.
Don't need no star.
Hey, look, we're gonna need some of them somewhere. We're gonna need some of them somewhere. Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, that does we're about to wrap things up as we come to the close of the show. We have a little segment where we share our thoughts before we sign off. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the 2-minute warning. Well, I would imagine at this point that we're back now. This video is still doing whatever it's doing.
Yeah, we're back. Hey. Yeah, it mutes us for some reason. So.
Yeah, well, what happens is when you play the video clip, it mutes the microphone so we don't talk over whatever audio was on it, and then it automatically unmutes the mics. It unmutes the mics when we come back.
Okay, so it's out of. I got you. Okay, that's why.
I'm gonna have to take a look at that and see why it's doing that though, because that's 2 weeks now. It's getting really annoying. But what would a show hosted about Mr. Fingers be if there weren't some sort of technical difficulty?
Gotta have a boot for real.
So, a friend of mine reached out to me and said, "Hey, oh yeah, you know our Cookie, our mutual friend Cookie,
Yeah.
reached out and was like, hey, bro, sorry I haven't been reaching out because Cookie will normally send some kind of inspirational, a short prayer or an inspirational saying or something like that to me every now and again just to say hey." And I noticed I hadn't heard from her for a while, but that's just kind of the cycle we've been on. You know, she gets busy, I get busy. We don't always have time to stop and sit down and have a 5-minute conversation, even if it's just a text conversation. How things going with you? And she hit me up. It's like, hey, bro, I just wanted to let you know I've been in the hospital, and that's why you hadn't heard from me. I'm pretty sure you've seen the post or whatever. And I was like, what? No, wait, hold on, what? And she said, you know, I was like, look, I'm sorry that I missed that, but I'm glad that you are still with us, because she was like, well, I hope I wasn't bothering you with just the stuff or whatever. I said, listen, there are people that started out 2023 with us that are not here right now. It's September. There's people that was with us in January that are not here in September, and I am glad that you are still with us. I'm glad that you are still here. And I just want to let you know while I got you that I appreciate you and I love you. And the whole point of that is that some of us don't make it to the end of the year. You know what I mean? Everybody does not get a tomorrow. And it happens to each and every one of us at some point. I mean, last year we buried our boy.
Yeah, you do. Yep.
Last year we buried our boy, and homeboy that owned Firehouse is gone. Harry, who owned Firehouse, is gone, and our friend Robin, they lost their bass player, passed away earlier this year. So it's, you know what I mean. We sometimes tend to take those things for granted.
For sure.
You know what? While you got the breath in you, do whatever it is it's in you to do. You know what I mean? Because tomorrow is not promised. So, I don't mean to get so serious, and I'm really not trying to take it to a morbid place. It's just that, there's people that started out this year with us, so don't ever people that started out this year with us that aren't with us, so don't ever be apologetic because you couldn't, don't get too far if you're somebody who's normally used to doing something that couldn't do something. The people that appreciate you just appreciate the fact that you're there. They don't care about the stuff you were doing. They just appreciate the fact that you're there and you're still with them. So that's me. That's what I got.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, I mean, we all. It seems kind of cliche to say it, but it's tomorrow's not promised, and we don't know when our number's going to be called. And so, I mean, if you got some loved ones that you are, kind of, having tiffs with here and there, whatever, if you can get over it, I mean, I would, suggest you do so, because you don't know when you're going to see them again and say I'm sorry. And I don't want to be put in that position, to be honest with you. If I got in a fight with somebody or whatever, be it a family member or whoever, and then have them be gone and not able to say you're not even not able to hash it out. You know what I'm saying? If it could be hashed out, which most things can, if you just listen, not try to talk over somebody, just listen to where they're at, and they do the same. But yeah. So I mean, tomorrow's not promised, but like I said, I'm 47. Turned 47 on Friday, and that goes to your point. My folks, I'm lucky enough to have both my parents are still around, pushing 70, and I've got my son. That he went through a host of other things. He could quite possibly not have been here. He's Superman, but it's it's those things. Like, people don't do a bad thing or a quote unquote thing you shouldn't be doing in their life, and then their life ends prematurely, and then guys, people throw caution to the wind, they live to be 80, 90. So there's no rhyme or reason for any of that kind of stuff. So no, but I mean, just be thankful for who you got in your life, and then make sure they know that you love them, and vice versa, that kind of stuff, and just let them know that you're important, or they're important to you. But on top of that, I'm happy that football season's here. Here comes fall, and I'm ready to get to the meat. I'm ready to get the meat of the schedule. Let's get this thing rolling, brother. What do you think?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Get these head buses.
I want to see some fire, dude. I want to see them fire up like last year and the year before that. Kobe and Jordan and Jalen. And pick up. I want somebody to pick up. Quarterback like a baby. It's a baby. Cut me a marlin.
Get in my bed.
Hey, don't do that. It's been a while.
It has, man. It has. Well, listen, y'all. We appreciate y'all tuning in. We appreciate you tuning in to this week's edition of Here we go. This week's edition of This Week in UGA Football. No, I was waiting to see if the thing was going to play or if it was going to do the dumb thing where it did the stutter. Yeah. So we appreciate y'all tuning in. We will be back next week. I'll have these technical difficulties worked out on behalf of myself and the birthday boy Colin P. from the DMV. We will see all of you next go round if the makers say so. And in the meantime, go Dogs.
Yes, sir. Go Dogs.
All right, so Pete, we appreciate you tuning in and watching these videos. Me and Colin will be back every Monday, every